children, how are you? I hope you all are doing well, studying well and enjoying every bit of what you're learning, okay? Isn't it enhancing your knowledge about things around you, what exists, okay? And what are the things that we use and why we use, what is the scientific reason behind it? Everything gets cleared when we look into science, okay, and study the different chapters of science. So now children, in this chapter, we are going to talk about soil erosion and conservation, okay. So we are going to learn about the importance of soil. We are going to talk about the factors that cause soil erosion. We are going to talk about the harmful effects of soil erosion, the steps to prevent soil erosion and the value of soil conservation, okay. So we all know that soil is very important. It's the most valuable asset that we can have, okay. So it is the most valuable natural resource on the earth, okay. Soil is the uppermost layer of the earth. Life cannot be imagined in the absence of soil, okay. We all know that everybody is dependent on soil. It is the uppermost layer of the earth, okay. Now 95% of our basic needs, okay, for food, shelter, clothing, okay, they are all fulfilled from land. So that is the reason why it is very important, okay, that this area of land that we have is preserved at all times. So what happens is, how is the soil formed? Okay, it is formed by the weathering and breaking of rocks, okay. So the wind, the water and living beings, they cause the rocks to break. Due to cooling, heating and excess of rain, the rocks crack and they break into small pieces to form soil. So now this process is called weathering. So if, as we know that on the surface of the earth there are rocks that exist. So when these rocks, okay, they actually due to the weathering and the breaking of the rocks, okay, what is formed is the soil, okay. So what are the different factors involved in this? It is the wind, the water and us living beings also, and the living beings also, they cause the breaking of the rocks, okay. So when there is the cooling process, heating process and there is excess of rain, these rocks, they crack up and then they start breaking up into small pieces, and these small pieces, they form soil, okay. So this process is known as weathering. The weathering process is a slow, long and continuous process. It keeps on happening, but it happens at a slow pace and takes its own time, okay. Roots of plants and trees, they penetrate deeper and deeper in the rocks, causing cracks. This leads to the formation of soil, okay. So the roots are also important of the plants, okay. They help in the when they penetrate deep down in the soil, okay, they start breaking the rocks which are under the soil, and then this leads to the formation of new soil, okay. Now let's talk about how do we use soil, okay. What are the uses of soil? We get food, we get clothes and we get shelter, okay. These three basic needs of life from soil, okay. Plants grow in the soil, you have food from the soil, okay. Similarly, animals are also dependent on plants. Now clothes, okay, we get different types of fibers from the plants that are grown, okay. So like the cotton fiber comes from plants, the silkworm gives us the silk, okay. So these are all on the soil, okay. These plants grow on the soil. Then we get shelter, okay. We use the mud or the clay to build our houses. This comes from soil, okay. Now plants which grow on soil, okay, bring rain, they support plant growth and they also support the animal activities. Large deposits of metals and minerals, okay, lot of metals and minerals are present in the soil. Microorganisms present in the soil make it fertile, okay. There are small organisms inside the soil which cannot be seen through naked eyes, and can be seen only through microscope. They help us to make the soil, they help the soil to be fertile. Okay, and it also helps in the maintaining of the ecosystem. Soil is used for making bricks, pots and porcelain. Okay. Soil also stores underground water. Now, who are the agents of soil erosion? What is soil erosion? The washing away of the soil, okay, is known as soil erosion. Now, there are certain agents that carry out this process of soil erosion. Who are these? Okay, let's talk about natural agents. Natural agents are agents like water, wind and snow. Okay, it can drag the soil. Okay, it can, if the soil is loose enough, it can move. Okay, it can get eroded. Man-made agents are deforestation and overgrazing that leads to soil erosion. So, what happens is when it rains, okay, the topsoil from the hills, okay, it starts getting washed away with the rain, okay, and it goes into the rivers. It gets mixed up with the river, okay, and then the mineral rich soil, it gets deposited in the river beds. Now, wind. Strong winds, they blow away the topsoil. Okay, when we must have seen when there is a very heavy storm, okay, everything starts flying. So, in that process only the topsoil also starts moving from one place to another. Okay. Snow, whenever it snows, the snow goes into the cracks of the rocks and then the rocks, they break. Okay. Apart from that, now these were the natural regions, okay, natural agents who could carry the soil, who were carrying the soil and causing soil erosion. Now, let us talk about us human activities, okay. Deforestation. Humans clear the forest for their requirement of wood and living space, and this results in soil erosion. Okay. Overgrazing by cattle. Now, animals, they graze on the same piece of land, okay, year and year. The land becomes bare. This results in soil erosion. So, if you look at the pictures, you will come to know the soil erosion that is caused by deforestation. Cutting off wood, okay, cutting off trees leads to soil erosion. Soil erosion caused by overgrazing, okay, when the animals graze on the same piece of land again and again, it starts growing back, okay, and the and the soil which is there, it becomes bare, okay. Soil erosion caused by water, when the water carries the soil away, okay. Soil erosion caused by wind, okay. These are the different pictures. Now, what can be done, okay, to prevent this, okay, from happening and to retaining the soil, okay. How can we conserve the soil and not lead and avoid this soil erosion that happens, because we all know, okay, that soil is very important for us, okay. Without plants, without trees, we will not be able to survive, okay. So, as a result of which, for these plants and trees to stay firm, okay, for their roots to be stuck inside the earth, okay, what do we need to do? How can we conserve this soil? Because soil is really important, okay. So, nature, we all know it takes over 100 years to replace one layer of soil lost by erosion. As we already said that the formation of soil is a very slow process. It is a very long process, okay. So, that is why it takes around 100 years, okay, for one layer of soil to be formed. So, it is therefore important to take steps to reduce erosion, okay. The careful protection of the soil or to protect soil from soil erosion is called soil conservation. Now, let us do this activity. You have to take 2 shallow trays, okay, put soil in both of them. So, take 2 trays, put soil in both of them. In one tree, okay, plant some grasses, and after 2 days put both the trays under water side by side. What do you observe? You will observe that the soil of tray with grass, okay, the soil of tray that has grass is not washed away, whereas the other tray, okay, soil is washed away. This shows roots of plants hold the soil particles and helps in its conservation. So, in one tray you add grass to it and leave it. Okay. In the other tray, what do? You just keep the soil in it, and then when you hold it under the water, you will see that the ones with the grass, that soil stays firm, whereas the other one gets washed away. Okay. Now, what are the different methods of conservation of soil? Planting trees or afforestation is very effective method of soil conservation. Okay. The roots of plants, they bind the soil particles together, okay, and prevent the water from carrying away the soil. Trees and bushes grown along the boundary protect the soil against the erosion by wind. So, that is the reason why it is very important not to cut trees and plant and start growing more and more trees, okay, or and start doing more and more of tree plantations, because they are very important for us. Okay. The roots, they not only hold the plant firmly to the soil, but they also bind it. Okay. They hold it in that manner that it gets bounded to the soil. Okay. And that is the reason why the particles cannot get washed away, and they all stick together. Okay. And it prevents the water from carrying away the soil. Apart from that, also when you look at the hills and all, if you have on the boundary, if you have the trees and bushes which are growing, okay, it will also avoid the soil erosion which is caused by the wind. Okay. Now, cutting the slope into steps or terraces can reduce soil erosion. So, in this hilly areas and all, they do a lot of terrace farming and all. So, when you have these steps formed on the hills and all, okay, or on the steps or on the terraces, it will avoid the soil from getting eroded. Okay. Steps slow down the flow of water. During the monsoon, many rivers, they get flooded. Flooding can wash away huge amounts of soil. To prevent floods, embankments along river banks are built. They also prevent the soil erosion. Okay. Now, overgrazing by the cattle should be prevented. So, instead of getting the cattle for grazing in one particular area over a period of time, you can start looking for different areas, or you can give them food in your own shed or in the near the place where they are living. Okay. Soil is conserved by growing crops. Okay. So, if we cover the soil with the crops, okay, like grass or pulses in plains, you cover crop prevents, okay, this cover crop, it prevents the soil from blowing off. So, instead of just leaving the soil as it is, if we grow crops on them, if we plant more trees on them, the soil erosion will be less. Alright. So, there are different methods to conserve soil involve growing cover crops, afforestation, terrace farming, and embankment along a river. Okay. So, let us revise the chapter. Okay. What is soil? It is the uppermost layer of the earth. Soil is formed by breaking of rocks into small pieces due to water, wind, climate change, etc. The process of removal of top layer of soil by water, wind, etc. is called soil erosion. Protecting soil from erosion is called soil conservation. Soil is conserved by afforestation, step farming, growing cover crops, and by building embankments on the rivers. Okay. Now, exercise. Let us see how much you followed. Okay. Let us do this. Take the correct option. The carrying away of top fertile soil by wind and water is soil conservation, soil erosion, soil profile or soil fertility. It is soil erosion. Okay. Soil can be conserved by afforestation, building embankments, step farming, or all of the above. It is all of the above. That is right. Cutting down trees in large numbers is deforestation, afforestation, overgrazing or plantation. It is known as cutting it. So, that means it is deforestation. And when you grow more trees, it is afforestation. Okay. The weathering, that is breaking down of rocks, results in the formation of coal, petroleum, fossils or soil. It is soil. Which of the following is a man-made cause of soil erosion? Water, wind, snow or overgrazing? It is overgrazing. Okay. Cover crops are grown to increase soil fertility, reduce soil erosion, conserve soil, or all of the above? It is all of the above. Okay. Fill in the blanks. Plants and tree, okay, hold the soil together by their roots. Okay. Soil is formed by weathering of rocks. Okay. What prevents soil erosion? Afforestation. Water and wind are the natural agents of soil erosion. Protection of soil from erosion is called soil conservation. Okay. Now, true and false. Deforestation increases soil erosion. Yes, absolutely. It does increase a lot of soil erosion. The soil gets washed away. Now, water and air, they cause both soil erosion and soil formation. It does. Okay. If you use it well, you can form the soil. Okay. And if you do not use it, if these factors can also lead to soil erosion. Okay. The plants grown as cover crops decrease the fertility of the soil. False, they increase the fertility of the soil. Strong embankments are made along the river banks to reduce soil erosion. Absolutely true. Okay. They prevent the soil from getting washed away. Okay. If topsoil is eroded from land, it becomes infertile. Yes, it does. Okay. Now, match the column. Weathering. What is weathering? It is the formation of soil. Okay. Deforestation. What is deforestation? It is cutting down of trees in large numbers. Conservation means process of protecting soil against erosion. Terrace farming, it helps in the prevention of soil erosion in hilly areas. And water and wind, they are the agents of soil erosion. Okay. Now, write the scientific terms of the following. Planting trees in large number is known as afforestation. Structures along river banks to prevent soil erosion by flooding is river embankments. Cutting down trees in large number is deforestation. Protecting soil from erosion is known as soil conservation, and carrying away of soil by wind or water is known as soil erosion. Okay? Take the correct answer. Plants and trees hold the soil together by their roots or stem, by their roots. Soil is mostly conserved by deforestation or afforestation. Afforestation. Cutting down of plants or growing of plants leads to soil erosion. It is the cutting down of plants. Terrace farming is a good measure to prevent soil erosion in deserts or hilly regions. It is in the hilly regions. And soil is a natural or artificial resource on the earth. It is a natural resource on earth. Okay. Now, short answer questions. Quickly reread the chapter before you start answering these questions. Okay. Which forms the uppermost layer of the earth? Okay. What is on the uppermost layer of the earth? It is the soil. Okay. Now, how is it formed? By weathering of rocks. Okay. How soil erosion is reduced in hilly areas through terrace farming. How do embankments and rivers prevent soil erosion? Okay. They stop from the water from getting washed away, or the soil from getting washed away during the times of floods. Okay. How man is responsible for causing soil erosion? Okay. Overgrazing and deforestation are some examples. So, children, elaborate these answers that I have given you as a hint. Okay. Long answer questions. How soil is useful to us? What are the different uses of soil? List 4 measures, okay, to conserve soil. What are the 4 different methods by which soil can be conserved? It is your choice what all points you want to include in your answer. Okay. What is soil erosion? And list the natural agents of soil erosion. So, list them and at least give some a little bit of write up about all these different agents. Okay. Define soil conservation. How can you conserve the soil, and suggest some measures, okay, to conserve soil. What is the need? Okay, why do we need to conserve the soil is what you have to elaborate and answer here. Okay, now critical thinking skills. Why is soil called valuable natural resource? Because it helps in the growth of plants. okay, and everybody, all living organisms depend on plants for their food, okay. Terrace farming reduces soil erosion. How? Because the water flow slows down on the steps, okay, of the hilly regions, okay. Now, case-based study. Soil is formed by the weathering and breaking of rocks. The wind, water and living beings cause the rocks to break. Due to cooling, heating and excess of rain, the rocks crack and they break up into small pieces to form soil. This process, it is known as the weathering process. The weathering process is a slow, long and it is a continuous process. Roots of plants and trees penetrate deeper and deeper in the rocks and then they cause cracks into it. This leads to the formation of soil. The process of carrying away of top fertile layer of soil, okay, from one place to another by water or wind is called soil erosion. Planting trees or afforestation is very effective method of soil conservation. The roots of plants bind the soil particles together and prevent the water from carrying away the soil. Trees and bushes grown along the boundary, they protect the soil against erosion by wind, okay. What is weathering? Okay, weathering is known as the breaking of rocks, okay, due to the cooling, heating and excess of rain. When the rocks crack and break into small pieces to form soil, okay, this process is known as the weathering. How is soil formed? Soil is formed by the weathering and breaking of rocks. What is soil erosion? Soil erosion is the process of carrying away of the top fertile layer of soil from one place to another by water or wind is called soil erosion, okay. And how can we prevent soil erosion? Okay, we can prevent soil erosion by growing trees and bushes along the boundary to protect the soil against erosion by wind, okay, by planting trees or afforestation, which is also an effective method of soil conservation, okay. So, the roots of plants, they bind the soil particles together and they prevent the water from carrying away the soil. That is why plant more trees, children, okay. Now, life skills. The quality of soil is deteriorating, okay, day by day because of our carelessness, okay. Any unwanted component in the soil, it causes its pollution. So, soil pollution also does happen, okay, when we are being careless. What should be done to improve its quality? How can you improve the quality of soil? Suggest some measures to the farmers so that the quality of soil does not deteriorate, okay. So, suggestions can be like the crop rotation, that means when the season gets over, they can plant some other crops, okay. They can grow some other crops in place of those crops, okay, and utilize the soil rather than leaving it bare, okay. Mixed farming, etc. All right. You can find some more methods also that you can suggest the farmers. All right. Now, let's do something new. Suggest ways to save the earth. How can you save the earth? Okay. Make a poster on how to conserve soil, the conservation of soil, different methods that can be used to conserve the soil. Now, you have to take 2 earthen trays, mix plaster of Paris with water to make a thick paste. Put a layer of this paste in both the trays. Plant the seeds quickly in one of the tray before the plaster hardens. Be sure the seeds are 1 centimeter below the surface of the plaster. Keep the trays in warm place. After few days, seeds will germinate and the plaster cracks. This shows what happens in the rock. So, this is how you will come to know what happens in the rock, okay. How does the weathering of rocks happen, okay. Now, explore. It was vacation time and Sanchit's grandparents, who live in village, called him to spend days with him. Sanchit's parents also agreed for this. So, when Sanchit went to village, Sanchit saw greenery everywhere. There were plants, there were tall trees. He was very happy to see this. He has not seen all these things in his city's house. Sanchit thought about and planned to make his house and its surroundings areas greener. Okay, can you suggest some ways to him to make his area greener? Do you follow these practices and contribute towards the mission of Green Earth? So children, Sanchit has gone to the village. He's seen greenery everywhere. Now he's come back home and he's seeing that he does not have so much greenery around him. So what are the different methods that Sanchit can use to make his surroundings in the city green? Alright, so suggest him certain ways. But before you start suggesting him, you need to quickly reread the chapter, complete all the exercises and activities. So get going.